believes that Russians may be allowed to participate in the 2026 Olympics with a flag and anthem. We are already seeing a positive trend in Russian sports. For example, the election of Alisher Usmanov as FIE president. As far as I understand, a number of federations are now being allowed to participate in world championships. Moreover, if Trump fulfills his promises regarding peace talks with Ukraine, then I have no doubt that our athletes will participate in the 2026 Olympics, and most likely with a flag and anthem. But for this, everyone needs to get to the World Championships and World Cups, through which many pass the selection. We need to win quotas, otherwise coming to the Olympics as one athlete is not so great. It is clear that the rhetoric is changing, and this is already evident in the rhetoric of our sports federations, which also read the news. And they understand that something needs to be done and move towards obtaining admission for athletes. We understand that if speed skaters are allowed, then short track and figure skating will be allowed too. This is a single system. One cannot exist without the other. I hope that it will be centralized. Figure skating loses a lot without Russia, said Olympic champion and State Duma Deputy Svetlana Zarova. The best figure skater in the world, American Ilia Malinin, turned 20, but a full-fledged celebration is postponed. This week, the Grand Prix final will be held in Grenoble, and Malinin is, of course, the favorite, going for his second consecutive gold in the final. Maya Bagriantseva has assembled the universe of a super skater, the inner circle that made Malinin almost unattainable. Mom Tatiana Malinina is also Ilia's coach. A successful figure skater in the past, Tatiana competed for Uzbekistan. She has lived in the United States for over 30 years with her husband Roman Skorniakov. He also skated for Uzbekistan, and in the last years of Malinina's career, he was her coach. Tatiana's most successful season was 1998-99, when she won the Grand Prix final and the Four Continents Championship. Tatiana and Roman have 2 children, the eldest son Ilia and daughter Liza. The children were given their mother's surname. The parents rightly decided that for life in America the surname is more convenient and easier to pronounce. Malinina is the head coach of their group at the SkateQuest rink in Reston. But there are no group lessons at the school. Both Tatiana and Roman only train individually. Ilia is not the only student of their parents. For example, Sarah Everhart, the new star of U.S. women's skating, who has already managed to beat Kaori Sakamoto and Isabeau Levito this season, trains under Malinina and Skorniakov. Malinina claims that her son's success is not the result of parental ambitions. We did not want our children to grow up to be athletes. I wanted them to be ordinary people, to try a different life. But as you can see, it didn't work out for us. Is it easy for her to coach her son? It's almost impossible. From the very beginning, we tried to adhere to the principle that at home we are parents, and at the rink we are coaches. At first, it didn't work out very well. There were conflicts. Ilia said that he wouldn't skate anymore. We answered him, okay, don't skate. We didn't want you to be a figure skater. He realized that he wouldn't achieve anything this way, and he gradually began to listen to us. And gradually he began to do what we said, recalls Tatiana Malinina. Ilia's first call after winning the World Championships in Montreal was to his mother. She cried with happiness, and he sheepishly tried to calm her down. By the way, Tatiana never watches her son's performances live. There is a tradition in the family. After the scores are announced, Roman first calls his wife and tells her how Ilia skated, and only after that does his mother watch the recording. At first I was also very nervous. I was terribly scared at his first starts. I remember Ilia was about 10 years old. We went to some serious competition. He does a double Lutz, and I almost faint from fear, I swear. But then you gradually get used to the stress, and now I go with him, just to support him. He doesn't need to be prepared for the performance. He copes with everything himself. My main task is to be there and understand in time what my help is needed. Skorniakov says. By the way, during training and in kick, father and son communicate in Russian, although sometimes you can hear English words slipping into their speech. At competitions, Roman can often be seen with a soccer ball in his hands. Ilia loves to play soccer and uses the ball to warm up before ice training. We never thought that Ilia would become a figure skater and compete. My wife and I worked all day at the rink and decided that he should just learn to stand on skates. He was about 6 years old, and he skated, essentially, on his own. We sometimes offered him to train with us, but he replied that he was fine as is, so no one really bothered him. We were simply touched by the little boy in skates. We had no serious ambitions. He liked to turn on some music and come up with a program for himself to it. Of course, we praised him and supported him, but we didn't have the thought, oh, he'll make it, he's really good. We'll give him some advice here, teach him something there, and suddenly it turns out that he really is a good skater. Several times a year, Malinin flies from his native Virginia, on the east coast of the USA, to California to Rafael Arutunian. The coach of 2022 Olympic champion Nathan Chin has been working with the Malinin family for several years. Ilia comes to solve technical issues that arise during the season, hold training camps, or just try new jumps. Arutunian explained to Sports why he and Malinin work in this format. He says that he likes coming to me, and, of course, I'm happy to hear it. Working with such a student is a gift for a coach. Sometimes I laugh. You, Ilia, are boring to train, I tell you, and you do everything. I have never had this. Everything comes easy to him. He is, of course, an incredible talent, especially when it comes to jumping. I am ready to help with everything else. I always emphasize, I will always help with whatever I can. Ilia is impeccably attentive and respectful to me and my work. He is a very good guy. He understands me at a glance, never argues, and absorbs everything. It rarely happens when an athlete can listen to a coach like that. It so happened that we are too far from each other geographically. Unfortunately, as one of my favorite students, Michelle Kwan, said, we got a little wrong timing here. We did not coincide with him in time. I am grateful to Ilia's parents for continuing to cooperate with me. At any difficult moment, I am always ready to be there because they are incredibly worthy and decent people who treat me with great respect. We have been working together for a long time, and they know that I am always open to them. What do I want to wish Ilia? That the important things he has planned for himself in life will definitely come true, and that he will not be afraid to make difficult and uncomfortable decisions. That is the essence of growing up. It is impossible to always be nice, and it is not necessary. Canadian Shailin Bourne is the main choreographer of Malinin's programs. She is one of the most famous choreographers in world figure skating. She has worked with Chin, Hanyu, and even our Kostornea and Tuktamashiva. Shailin has been collaborating with Ilia for the third season. It was with her programs that he won the world championship. Usually, Bourne suggests the music for the productions, but this year Ilia himself came up with the idea for the free program. His parents gave him the composition I'm Not a Vampire by American rockers Falling in Reverse to listen to, and Malinin admits that he immediately fell in love with it. Beethoven's Für Elise, which was originally planned to be the free program, was postponed, although Shailin did not immediately agree to the vampire theme. Ilia says that the most important thing for him in working with Bourne is the opportunity to offer ideas. When we create a program, we listen to each other. She pays close attention to my ideas, we experiment a lot, and in the end we get a cool program that is comfortable for me to skate, explains Malinin. Bourne has studied Ilia's tastes well, and for this season's short program she herself suggested the track Running by rapper NF, whom the skater adores. In the spring, Ilia came up with a show number to another of his songs, Hope, and Bourne clearly wanted to use the relaxed way Malinin moves in a style that is close to his spirit. The collaboration between Shailin and Ilia is not limited to the off-season. She continues to work with Ilia on choreography during the season, during Malinin's visits to California. Ilia's sister Liza Malinina is also involved in figure skating and also trains at her parents' rink. Liza is 10 years younger than her brother and currently competes in children's categories. This season, she participated in the qualifying tournament of the American Figure Skating Federation, the so-called sectionals. Her father, Roman Skorniakov, led her out onto the ice, and in the broadcast, you could hear how touchingly he went over the details of the performance with her. In the protocols, however, Liza Malinina turns into Ellie Beatrice Malinina. Her mother told Sports the story behind her daughter's unusual name. We named her Elizaveta, but we wanted the name to be a little special, so we wrote it down with two L's. That's how we got Elizaveta, and then we just shortened it to Ellie. And Beatrice, just because I've always really liked that name. I actually wanted to name my daughter that, but I couldn't convince Roman. So it became her middle name. In an interview with Sports, Ilia said that he thinks his younger sister is more talented than him. I can say for sure, I skated much worse at her age. Jumps, spins, steps, she does everything better, so I think she has talent. But of course, for now she skates more for fun and doesn't take it too seriously. No one forces her, her parents try not to overdo it, but at the same time motivate her to skate, to understand whether all this can develop into something serious. Mom and coach agrees. It seems like everything comes easier to Liza. Of course, boys and girls at this age are very different. Direct comparisons cannot be made. It is difficult to judge what kind of jump she will have, but Ilia also did not succeed in them right away. We were not sure of anything, we just worked a lot until everything began to fit together into some kind of puzzle. There are no other options here, no one will give guarantees. Liza is still small, but it is already clear that her strong point is gliding, and it comes easy to her. We worked a lot on this with Ilia, much more than with Liza. We even invited dance coaches. And she can make any turn on the ice without any additional effort. It seems to be given to her by default. This is probably why Ilia Malinin competes not only in single skating. Last season, she competed several times in a new discipline for the ISU, solo ice dancing. There, the younger Malinin is getting into medals, but in single skating, she is still hampered by technical errors. At the same time, the parents of 9-year-old Liza really do not force the preparation. Liza goes to school every day. She has a full school life. She trains only an hour and a half a day, in the morning before classes, and only 4 times a week. If she decides that figure skating is not for her, we will not insist. You can always force her, but as a coach I know that without the desire of the student, nothing worthwhile can be achieved. Tatiana Malinin explained in a conversation with Sports. Grandfather Valery Malinin is the founder of the Malinin dynasty in figure skating. The coach from Novosibirsk put his daughter Tatiana on skates at the age of 5 and led her to juniors. And he was able to seriously interest his grandson in figure skating. Before that, Ilia agreed to skate only during mass skating for fun. According to Tatiana Malinin, this happened during one of Grandpa Valery's visits to the family in the USA. Ilia was running around the rink like crazy. And then my dad came to us from Russia for 2.5 to 3 months, and he is also a figure skating coach. And my dad said, let me just work with him a little. Little by little, they started doing something. I see that after 3 months, Ilia started jumping all singles, and they started working on the axle. And then Ilia asked me to sign him up for local competitions. We saw that he really liked skating for the public. He wanted to perform in front of an audience. Then he asked to sign him up for other competitions. That's how it all started. Valery Malinin recalls that Ilia didn't have much enthusiasm at first. It was hard with him at first. Tanya said, I don't know what to do with him. He doesn't give in. He doesn't want to study. He tells us, I'll quit figure skating and go to football. We answered him, do you think you don't need to train in football? You do too. Maybe even more than in figure skating. You skate for 4.5 minutes and you're happy, but there you have to work. Run around the field for an hour and a half. I told Tanya and Roman then, guys, you need to have time to prepare the girls up to 13 years old. But you have to wait with the boys. At this age their brains don't work yet. They can't force themselves to work yet. But when a boy gets his first triple, everything falls into place. When Ilia started doing triples, he got an incentive, a desire to jump more, to do more difficult things. With age, he gained strength and technique. His body became stronger. I had to bring him to this point to endure it. Valery Malinin also confirms his grandson's incredible love for football. One of our guys told me they competed at the Grand Prix stage in the same warm-up with Ilia. Everyone was tense, practicing the elements, and Ilia came, kicked the ball, went out on the ice, did quads, and that's it. How can you compete with him? He loves the ball. That's why he wanted to play football. Ilia communicates with his grandfather in Russian, but they last saw each other a long time ago. Getting from Novosibirsk to Virginia is not easy, and the world champion has never been to Russia. In February of this year, Malinin unexpectedly revealed his personal life. His girlfriend turned out to be Anna Sretensky, the daughter of the Soviet figure skater Genrik Sretensky, who performed in ice dancing in the 80s. Genrik, like many skaters of that time, moved to the United States and lives in the same area as the Malinin family. The couple often tags each other on social networks. Ilia congratulated Anna on Valentine's Day and her birthday, addressing her as my favorite person in the world, and Quad Goddess, by analogy with Malinin's nickname Quad God. Anna, in response, makes collages of their joint photos on International Boyfriend Day, There Is One, and touchingly congratulates them on all their victories in competitions. Sretensky also did figure skating, but she quit the sport and now performs in shows, and also skates for the amateur Team Columbia Skating Club. This year, Anna entered George Mason University, where, by the way, Ilia is also studying, in the criminology department. All of Ilia's commercial issues are handled by sports agent Ari Zakarian. Contracts, participation in shows, and even communication with the press are his area of responsibility. Zakarian has been working with Malinin since his junior years and knows better than many what Ilia is like at work. Over the almost 30 years of my career as an agent, he is the most erudite and intelligent athlete. Moreover, Ilia is too smart. His brain is not 20, but 40. At the same time, he is an absolutely normal guy, a boy like any other boy, a teenager at heart, but an absolutely adult in his brain. I spend a lot of time with him. Sometimes we drive for several hours in a car or on a plane and talk about completely different topics. He is always aware of everything that is happening. He has his own opinion. He is undoubtedly incredibly gifted as an athlete. He quickly grasps new things. He can learn a trick in a week that takes others 6 months to learn. At the same time, he is very stubborn. If he sets a goal, he will definitely achieve it. Ilia closely follows everything that happens in the world of figure skating. He is always aware of what someone has jumped or skated, and I can never surprise him with news here. I believe that he has already established himself as a super professional, and therefore I have long consulted with him on many issues practically on equal terms. I am sure that he will grow up to be a cool businessman. He has an innate business acumen. And not necessarily in the sports field. He will succeed in design and in banking. But when he launches an ice show as a producer, and I have no doubt about this, it will be a top-notch product. I see the questions he asks, how interested he is in understanding this business. Ilia helps me a lot with the organization. For example, he takes part in choosing artists for the show. At the same time, he knows how to be sharp when necessary, I would say, to the point. To express an unpopular point of view or disagree with something he doesn't like. I like this. He is becoming an adult and learning to defend his opinion. What will I give him for his birthday? Ilia is into fashion, so my gift will be in this area. We also organized a small creative surprise for him with other skaters. I am sure he will be very pleased, Zakarian told Sports. The Grand Prix final will be held in Grenoble from December 5th to 8th. Ilia Malinin will take to the ice with a short program on Friday evening, December 6th.